Deion Sanders. Colorado reported, self-reported. I don't see the smoke out of your head yet. Deion Sanders in Colorado self-reported a recruiting violation.
Right.
Why were you so mad about this? You seemed really annoyed about this.
So the reason that this is kind of an annoying one is because of what happened here. So Prime used to, now is not able to.
Coach Prime.
Coach Prime, Deion Sanders, did his coach's show, live streamed it for people to watch.
And it had a huge audience.
Yeah, it was a great thing. And now, unfortunately, on the last episode of that, I believe it was, Prime referenced Julian Lewis, the quarterback, and their recruitment of him. And it's all been taken down. So
before National Signing Day on December 4th.
Right. So
Deion mentioned Juju in a live stream.
Which you can't do. That's illegal.
He's not your player. You are not allowed to publicly comment on recruits.
Right.
Or players
because
not
it's illegal.
in your program. So, hey, is Ollie Gordon going to Texas, Sark? Can't talk about it. And Deion talked about him by name. It's a minor violation. Why do you hate it? It is a violation, right?
It is a violation. Yes, he broke the rule. The reason I hate it is just because I feel like, Deion was it wasn't like Deion lied about something or was being deceptive or was fighting against the process, right? Like he was doing the show, having a conversation about the offseason, essentially.
Hey, get Juju on the phone and get his pops on the phone. Is the exact quote. That is the violation they reported. And he followed that quote up with, I've spoken to his dad, and his dad is more than comfortable having him play for Coach Prime, is what Coach Prime said.
Yeah.
Allegedly. Because Colorado removed the video from YouTube after it learned of the violation. They have now said they will no longer do Coach Prime's show on live stream. And according to Colorado, they self-reported it and enforced new guidelines to prevent another incident. They won't live stream the show. And he is going to reduce 4 in-person recruiting visits during the 2025 spring contact period.
Yeah.
And you hate it.
Yeah, I think that it's a really... I can appreciate that they self-reported, right? Like, obviously, they learned of the violations, so then they self-reported it. Like, they went through the process. I can respect that. The thing that I, and it's not really about Colorado per se, but this situation just gets you thinking, like, we're in a time when there's a ton of transfer portal activity and a lot of movement with players, right? Like, there's more than there's ever been. And so it makes you wonder, like, it's not like Coach Prime said, oh man, I went out and recruited this kid and he's an amazing kid. Like he didn't like wax poetic about Juju. Like he made an offhand reference to him and then spoke on his dad. And that's the violation. So it is what it is. He broke the rule. I'm not saying he shouldn't be punished or they shouldn't have to deal with the consequences.
It is a garden variety violation.
Yeah.
It is clearly more punishment than the NCAA would have handed out. It is a minor violation that happens these violations, minor violations. If you go and look, every university self-reports minor violations pretty much on a monthly basis.
Yeah.
There are things you cannot do. Minor violations include, hey, it's May and I bumped into my quarterback in the hallway and we talked about, getting him a new iPad for film study. That's a violation.
That's June. And, I happened to bump into some students at a diner and we had some cheeseburgers together and, it's great.
Minor violation. Well, only it's not, because then the major violation that you got punished for was you lied to the NCAA about it.
So again, I'm not upset that Prime has to deal with these consequences, whatever. Right. It just felt like, gosh, he was just speaking on a player And it is a violation, but it just seemed a bit petty to me. It seemed a little bit silly.
Yeah. Jay McClanahan says, at least Deion didn't give a kid a cheeseburger.
Yeah.
And again, what did the NCAA say? The violation itself was not the biggest issue. It's that Coach Khakis, anyway. I don't know. The more I see of Prime, the less I like him. How do you like Deion Sanders less?
Walk me through why you don't like Deion Sanders.
I've always struggled with this part because when I look at Deion Sanders, I'm not a Colorado fan. I'm a huge Coach Prime fan.
Mm-hmm.
Well, one, he plays us on his show.
Hey, by the way, 57
for 3
minutes to the
seconds.
Diamond Turfs.
Yeah, I cannot wait. 57
Do
minutes.
you believe?
One of the shoes of my childhood is being re-released by Nike today. Anyway, the point is, Deion Sanders is what's right with college football. Treats his kid well, treats his kid as respectfully as you could ever want your kid to be treated. And when I say his kid, I don't mean Shador. I don't mean, his sons, Shiloh. I mean all of his players. His kids have, for the first time in the history of Colorado, a 3.0 grade point average on the football team.
Yeah. It's huge.
They're well-fed. They're maturing. They're mentored. Like, it's everything that you want a football program to be. And now they're winning games.
Mm-hmm.
So when you say you don't like Deion Sanders, help me understand that. ACC West Coast Commissioner Gumby. Minor violation, enjoying KC barbecue. Nobody enjoys KC barbecue. Anime, what's up? Good morning, dude. Good to see you. I'm glad you're back. LOL, Prime talks too much. I was so happy that BYU absolutely destroyed.
Well, hey, that's cool. That's fine. I mean, if that's your take.
I'm down with that.
Yeah, that's cool.
It's not personal. That's football.
Yeah.
That's great. I don't like free shoes. Scum Dallas and liberal theology. Besides that, Deion is okay, I guess.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. You hate Dallas, so
I think it's hilarious that, like, because Deion Sanders does it better in terms
Prime.
of Coach Prime does it better than the average Joe coach in college football with the video stuff and the marketing, and you see more of it. That inherently means that he just talks more. Do you think that other coaches don't do the same things that Deion does? Like, come on now.
Welcome to the nightmare. Speaking of coaches, Nightmare, are you excited about UCF this year?
No.
I think, well, we'll see. A lot of change coming into the bounce house. I'm surprised that Chad isn't blowing up with the hate on Prime over a small violation.
Oh, no.
I am too. Make sure you all hit the like button, please. It really helps the channel grow. Hey, really nice day yesterday on Spotify. Really good day on Spotify yesterday. If you're a podcast person, all of our video podcast is on Spotify. Just search The Monty Show, Monty, The Monty Show. Thank you to everybody that watched it on Spotify, Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, wherever you are. Thanks. Come over to YouTube. Please hit subscribe and then give us a thumbs up. It really helps the channel grow. Trying to get to 150,000 before next football season. Summer is historically the slower time for picking up subscribers.
Yeah.
Please, if you're watching the show anywhere else, come on over to YouTube, hit subscribe, and please give us a like. We always try to get to 100 likes during the live show. We don't always make it, but it helps. Coach Prime has won me over. I respect how he turned things around in Colorado. Okay. Will you be on board with firing Mike Gundy if he does not go to a bowl game this year? Will you be on board with firing Mike Gundy if they don't go to the playoffs this year?
I was going to say a bowl game. That's
if they don't win the conference, the Big 12 conference. Are you on board with removing Mike Gundy? That's my question.
Yeah. What's the level of success for him to keep his job?
Jay McClanahan, I'm not a Colorado fan, but I have to take my hat off to what Deion brings to the game in the Big 12. 100%.
Yeah, and I also think heading into this year, this is the year where his story is really going to be written in the Big 12. His kids aren't there anymore. Travis is gone. Like, now it's time to, like, actually start developing.
Brought in multiple quarterbacks,
Yeah.
Brought in a lot of new talent. Phil Lodeholt leaving Colorado. You know what's funny? An NFL guy said to me yesterday, don't count out Deion in Dallas just yet.
That's what I'm saying, dude. You're really telling me that Jerry Jones is going to hire Schottenheimer, a no experienced head coach.
But Brian Schottenheimer's been everybody's offensive coordinator.
Yeah.
Who are you, Liam Cohen?
Come
My
on,
point
dude.
is, we're going to talk about that. I don't think if I put a percentage on Deion of the Dallas Cowboys.
I still think it's 30-40%, dude.
Okay, I was going to be 70-30 no.
Yeah.
He's staying at Colorado. But I
mean, doesn't, not to get too sidetracked here, but I have to say, while we're talking about Deion, isn't Schottenheimer got scrub head coach written all over him, like great coordinator, bad head coach written all over him?
You did this to yourself, Jerry.
You did.
Shad Jones.
Right? Like,
Jerry Kahn.
And I'm a vampire feeding off mass disappointment.
You did this to yourself. God, I love you for that. You did this to yourself, Shad Jones.
Yeah.
Like
I'm sorry, you thought Liam Cohen was the right guy?
Did you guys hear about this thing in Jacksonville? This is one of the craziest stories I've ever heard. So this cat, Liam Cohen, you don't know who that is. Nobody does.
Who the hell is Liam?
Well, he's actually a really good offensive coordinator.
Who the f*** is that guy?
He's the offensive coordinator of Tampa Bay, the Buccaneers.
Was.
Thank you. Good old Liam gets a phone call from the Jacksonville Jaguars and Trent Baalke, the general manager of the Jags. Hey, why don't you come interview? Okay, sure. Yeah, let's set it up. Time goes on. Time to set up an interview. Nah, I'm good.
No.
I'm going to stay in Tampa, and I'm going to become the highest paid offensive coordinator in the NFL.
So that happens, and everyone's
Renegotiating
like, okay.
a contract, got it done. Ring, ring. Hi, this is Liam. Hey, it's shitty owner Shad Khan in Jacksonville. Why aren't you coming to interview for us? I hate Trent Baalke.
How about that?
Well, okay, I'll fire him. Okay. Hey, look at that. They fired Trent Baalke. That's weird. Next day, Liam Cohen, the highest paid offensive coordinator in the NFL, is the new head coach of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
We're out of here.
And you know why he took the job? They're going to allow him to choose the general manager, too. Let me get this right. Now, I'm just little old Monty over here.
Right. Morty.
Hey, Monty, if you were Shad Khan, how would you build your football team? Well, I'd hire a general manager, and I'd let the general manager hire the head coach.
Okay.
Only you fired the general manager so you could hire a head coach, and the head coach is going to hire another general manager.
It was at this moment that he knew.
Yeah.
He fucked
Who
up.
are you, the Jets? Do you guys understand how bad football teams operate? The Jets fired their general manager, hired their head coach, who's going to have significant say in the GM. The Jaguars and Fivehead fired their general manager because the coach they wanted wouldn't work for the general manager, and now they're going to have the coach hire a general manager.
Schemers trying to control their little worlds.
And the general manager in Dallas, hello, Jerry, didn't fire the head coach, wouldn't let him interview for other jobs, and then he fired the head coach.
Bruh.
And what do all these teams have in common? They
They're
don't win
trash.
games. They don't win games.
Hot ass.
This is one of the craziest things I've ever seen.
Now, before we get to the comment section, we must ask this question that we were talking about before the show. Pull up the draft order. So you hired Liam Cohen as your head
this
coach.
was a fight.
So here's my question.
Do you feel stupid now that you've thought this through?
I don't feel as stupid as Shad Khan is, but this might be one of my dumbest takes. So you're Jacksonville. Fivehead has been five-heading for a couple seasons now.
And how?
And hasn't been very good for you.
Trevor
Admittedly,
Lawrence.
though, you're a terrible team and a terrible organization. So in this year's draft, you're fifth. Now, please educate me as to why you should trade for Trevor Lawrence.
Now, I would, let me ask you this. You're the Tennessee Titans,
Right.
the Cleveland Browns, or the New York Giants.
A lot of options, a lot of ways we could go here.
All three of those teams need a quarterback.
Yeah.
Idiot. I mean, what's his first? Shad Khan, not idiot. Sorry, mispronounced that.
So I said, yeah.
Shad Khan calls you, or whoever Liam Cohen hires to be the general manager, calls you and says, "Hey, we'll take that first pick. How about we give you Trevor Lawrence in the 5th pick for the number 1 overall pick?" If I'm Tennessee, I'm like, why don't you throw in a 7th rounder and the deal's done? Because in your argument was, well, they're going to draft Shedeur Sanders, and I'd rather have Shedeur Sanders than Trevor Lawrence.
Yes.
No thanks. And here's why. Because if you're Will Levis or you're Daniel Jones, Danny Dimes,
Yes.
or if you're Cleveland who doesn't have a quarterback at all, do you want to take a risk on a rookie? And I think Shedeur or Cam Ward are going to be amazing. But do you want to take a risk on a rookie or take a really good quarterback in Trevor Lawrence?
Well, Monty, what do you mean he's a really good quarterback?
Trevor Lawrence is a guy that I think it needs a change of scenery. And I think he's sacked more than he completes passes. And he has not, in my opinion, even with Dougie P there, who I think is a really good developer of quarterbacks, Doug Peterson.
Yeah. He's
not learned how to not get his head ripped off by defenders, even though the hit was illegal, should have never been in that position.
Aziz.
But Trevor Lawrence needs somebody to teach him how to play quarterback. If I'm the Cleveland Browns, Kevin Stefanski, that is my Buddha. That's the guy. That is my quarterback muse, Trevor Lawrence. If I'm trying to replace Will average ass Levis, Trevor Lawrence is a massive upgrade.
It's my quarterback.
If I'm the New York Giants, are you telling me that Trevor Lawrence doesn't instantly make them a much better offense? He does. Is he elite? No, but I think he can be elite. And if I'm any one of those 3 teams, and furthermore, let's keep going down the draft board. Las Vegas, the Jets, New Orleans, Indianapolis, all of them need Trevor Lawrence. I'm making the phone call. Hey, give us Trevor Lawrence. We'll give you, hey, Jacksonville, it's bowl cut in Las Vegas. Give us Trevor Lawrence. We'll give you the 6th pick so you can pick 5 and 6. Give us Trevor Lawrence. We'll give you the 6th pick in a 7th rounder. And you don't have to include any salary. Who says no? You think Tom Brady's not going to? You think Tom Brady's not going to be a good influence on Mr. Massive Forehead?
Okay, I like that deal, the Jacksonville Raiders deal. That deal makes a lot of sense. The only other factor here that has to be brought up is cost. So Trevor Lawrence is going to cost you significantly more than, Shedeur Sanders.
He'll take the money in crypto.
Right. Yeah. Crypto guy.
He took his signing bonus as a rookie in cryptocurrency.
I don't know. I'm not saying your logic is off. I think it's more of just an opinion-based thing. Like, the logic is sound, but I'm struggling with, hey, what do you believe in more? Do you believe in more that Trevor Lawrence in a new situation, can take you to the wild card round inside of 2 seasons? Or do you believe more that, Shedeur Sanders can go down the, Jaden Daniels route, if you will, and be an impactful rookie QB right out the gate?
Listen to his money. In 2025, $17 million. 24 and 26, 35 and 27, and 47 and 28. You control this cat all the way through 2028, and he's never going to be more than 14% of your salary cap. And, Monty, Trevor Lawrence sucks balls. Okay, so you think Trevor Lawrence sucks? Okay, let me ask you, what in his stats says he sucks? There's one stat that stands out that Trevor Lawrence struggles with. Completion percentage. That's his number one stat he struggles with. And his career average is 63%. He's got, in 2022, right, he played all 17 games, 4,113 yards, 25 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. That's top of the table, dog. Like,
he was playing well, yes.
He does not suck. I got news for you.
And I'm
Trevor
not saying
Lawrence
he
is a
does.
really good quarterback.
I'm not saying he does. What I'm saying is that again, if you consider the draft order, none of these organizations know how to develop a quarterback. When's the last time the Tennessee Titans developed a quarterback?
Kevin Stefanski is an excellent. I would agree
Wow.
with you. Brian Daboll in the Giants. Tennessee, I'm looking at Kevin Stefanski in Cleveland. How do you say no to this? If I'm Tom Brady and the Raiders, how do you say no to this?
I don't know. Is Stefanski and ownership on the same page now?
Yes. Well, he didn't get fired, so that would tell me that's a yes.
Yeah.
And when I look at the numbers, and you look at when Trevor Lawrence plays an entire year, his best year slots in 7th this year. His best year was better than the year that Patrick Mahomes had this year. Oh, he sucks. Takes a huge hit, concussion, misses games.
Right.
This is
His
the first
season ended on that play.
This is the first year on an illegal hit. This
Yeah.
is the first year
Yeah.
he's missed significant time.
Yeah.
I'm telling you that Trevor Lawrence, who missed 7 games, still finished top 30 in the league in passing. Trevor Lawrence, when you look at his numbers, 3,641, 4,113, 4,016. And the guy's been sacked 112 times.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a case to be made that he can be a 5,000-yard guy in the right environment.
agree.
There's no question about that. I think the hard part is going to be, what are those situations that he's going to go to? I mean, obviously from the Titans side of things, from the Browns, the Raiders, whoever you want to look at, they have to have the ability to develop somebody. I mean, I guess Stefanski's a very capable head coach. There's no question about it. Obviously he's a good developer of players, but I'm sitting here wondering, dude, what's more of a risk? On one side of the fence, you can say that Trevor Lawrence is less of a risk because he's already been in the league. He's accustomed to the game. He's shown you, as we just looked at statistically, that he can be a top 10 quarterback in the league, given or provided that he's protected, provided that he has weapons. But I also think about guys like Shador. I think about Cam Ward. I mean, these are guys that are more athletic than Trevor Lawrence. Could be better quarterbacks than Trevor Lawrence. But again, it's that same question. And this is, I guess, ultimately what we get back to in any conversation in the NFL, which is, hey, which organizations can take the player and turn that player into a difference-making quarterback, right? What better example of this than in Washington this year, right? I don't know that I'm like, oh, man, I'm totally sold. Even the Jets, dude. You have a defensive-minded head coach now in New York. You're really telling me that the Jets are going to go out and get Trevor Lawrence after the debacle with Aaron Rodgers? Come on, man. I'm
not saying it's not a risk.
Yeah, I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm saying that I don't know that there's a situation for Trevor Lawrence right now in these teams that are at the top of the draft who would be in this conversation where it's better for him.
How many of those teams are taking quarterback? If you look down this list,
I think the top 3 are all taking quarterback.
You think all of them are taking quarterback?
I think that they unless they trade, and I will give you credit, there is a lot of smoke about Tennessee trading out of that number 1 pick, as there is every year.
We heard
this. We heard this with the Bears. We've heard this almost every year. So I'm not surprised to hear the noise, but there is definitely traction on Tennessee trading out of the number 1. And getting some value for that. So again,
let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Best receiver in that group there. Well, it's probably Malik Neighbors with the Giants.
Yeah.
Is Malik Neighbors a better wide receiver? Is he ever a 1,500-yard wide receiver? Well, I think he can be.
Can you go back to Trevor Lawrence's best years and pull up Brian Thomas's numbers?
Okay. Yeah. Absolutely.
Because Brian Thomas is not every single year a great wide receiver, but I can't remember which year it was that he had a baller year with Trevor Lawrence, and that was one of Trevor Lawrence's best years.
2 years ago.
Yeah, I think it was 2 years ago.
Brian Thomas No, 2024. Brian Thomas had 1,282 yards. And his game logs this year, when were his best games? His best game was probably Jacksonville, the Raider game.
Look at the targets, how much they drop off
Oh, massively when Trevor Lawrence
when
went
Trevor
out.
Lawrence went out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no question about it. But if you just go and let's look at,
Malik Neighbors.
well, Malik Neighbors is a stud. There's no doubt about that. If you look at Trevor Lawrence's best year, let's look at their, how about 2022?
Yeah.
Arguably 2022 is his best year. 2023 wasn't a bad year either. If you look at their stats, what were his biggest games? His biggest games, I think, were probably the Tennessee game. He throws for 368 and 3 scores.
Yeah.
Screw you. You look at Evan Ingram, right? Riley Patterson kicking field goal. Zay Jones, perfect example.
Zay Jones, yeah.
Perfect example. His best receivers were Zay Jones and Evan Ingram. And Evan Ingram's a hell of a wide receiving tight end.
Yeah.
But if you look at Zay Jones is a guy that thrived under Trevor Lawrence for 1 year, 823 yards.
Okay, so
So he hasn't had Malik Neighbors level talent.
Okay, so let's say that the Giants do the steal.
Yes.
Let's say that, so the Giants, what are the Giants? Number 3 in the draft, I think it is.
Let me put the draft order back up.
Right. They're 3rd in the draft.
Yep.
They're going to trade down to 5.
They're going to swap picks with the Giants and give the Giants probably
Jacksonville.
Excuse me. And Jacksonville's probably going to give them a little bit of cash. Or the Giants will give them a little bit of cash and an extra draft pick.
Yeah. I mean,
I don't know how you say no to it. If you're the Cleveland Browns, dude, Kevin Stefanski is a multi-time coach of the year. And I would ask you, is Baker Mayfield the quarterback he is today without Kevin Stefanski?
no, he's not. No, he's not.
It makes a lot of sense. That's all. Let's get into the
what do you guys think of this?
Let's see what
Because
you
I
guys
think it
have
is a
to say.
legitimate conversation. I just think it'll come down to what these organizations view as less risky.
Let's get to 250K by the end of the year. That's really hard to do on you. To pick up 120,000 in 11 months is.
You need to start sharing the show if you want that to happen.
Yeah, big time. And Donuts, I lived in Boulder for a couple of years, and I can't believe prime success. It's a different world there. It is. It is. But, Stadium Guy James, if Gundy doesn't get to a bowl this year, he has to retire. No, he should be fired, not retire. It's fine. It's fine. Jags are going to jag. Who are you? The New York Jets?
That's
exactly
what I'm
right.
saying, dude.
I subscribe to this channel, even though I know Monty uses me as a foil for his diabolical anti-Michigan schemes.
Okay.
I'm not the anti-Michigan guy on this show. That'd be Troy Smith, who's the anti-Michigan guy. Troy Smith, the Ohio State legend, who said Professor Khakis ran to the next level because they cheated.
Via social media.
I think I've said that on this show. And this is in response to Jim Harbaugh kicking the crap out of Ohio State in his life. First 6 seasons. Right? Like it is.
The rivalry lives on.
It is inarguable that Jim Harbaugh cheated at Michigan, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And Ryan Day paid a heavy price for that. Jim Harbaugh absolutely escaped to the NFL.
Yeah.
Egan, Malik Neighbors will have 1,500 yards with Cam Ward or Sanders. I think that would not be this coming year. I hope people understand the limitations that Cam Ward is going to have to overcome.
What do you mean 700 with Trevor Lawrence?
This is you. My guess is you haven't seen it.
You haven't. You have not watched Trevor Lawrence.
Mike Smith says Air McNair. Boy, weren't those the day. San Diego State Glenn. Trevor Lawrence also struggles with pick sixes at inopportune times. Absolutely,
100%.
He has.
And again, the point is not that Trevor Lawrence is perfect. That's not the point. The point is that is that the guy has shown you that he has really high-level NFL football in him,
32 minutes.
but he just needs to get to the correct, the correct opportunity. That's the conversation. Nobody's saying the guy is Patrick Mahomes, but the reality is he did have a year in Jacksonville, albeit that was Patrick Mahomes level. You can't run from that.
Brandon Butler, good morning, sir. I think if you are going full rebuild, you have to trade Trevor Lawrence to reset your cap. And that contract is so affordable, it fits under everybody's cap. The eye patch, Trevor Lawrence greater than all Raider QBs now. It's a no-brainer for the Raiders and for Cleveland.
Yeah.
No doubt about it. Stadium guy James, I'd take Trevor Lawrence over Dak Prescott. You're out of your mind. You're out of your mind. As the resident Texans fan,
first team All Aziz,
I have to think Trevor Lawrence sucks, but ownership has done him no favors. Dude, Bryce, you ain't wrong, my guy. You are not wrong. Trevor would be a legend in Minnesota. They have an offense that would fit him perfectly. I think that's
true. But
true.
JJ, first team All Michigan, right?
Yeah,
A Michigan man.
Free Harbaugh.
Right? Flowing locks on the sideline.
Do they keep Darnold?
No. They're going to trade Sam Darnold or cut him. Yeah.
Well, he's a free agent, I think. You have to bring him back. I would take Trevor Lawrence over a bag of left-handed doorknobs. Well, that's a tough call. I'll need some time to check the doorknob stats.
Yeah.
UW fan Jim, Shedeur Sanders will be available by the 5th pick. I think that's a really interesting question, Jim. And the answer is I don't know. I can't see him getting past the Giants. If there's no trades, right? If there's no trades and everything remains equal.
But again, I'm telling you, Tennessee is going to trade out, and they will trade out with one of these teams that really could use, you look at Indianapolis. They're not going to trade up to get Shedeur Sanders because they have Anthony Richardson, but a team like that really needs
that was.
Yeah, he's just not worked out. And I really thought he would change, and he just hasn't.
He sucks.
Yeah, he just has not changed to the NFL way of life, and it's really disappointing.
When are you guys going to acknowledge my greatness on right? Because I deserve some credit on AR-15 sucking out loud.
No.
Yes, I do. I think Tennessee, if they stay there, Cam Ward or Shedeur Sanders?
I would take Shedeur. I think he's more responsible. I think he absorbs the information better.
Cleveland Browns, Travis Hunter or Shedeur Sanders?
Well, if you make the Lawrence deal,
I think you got to take. By the way, if you're Tennessee, you got to take Travis Hunter. But you have so many needs on that club. The New York Giants. I think whatever quarterback didn't go ahead of you.
Yeah.
Because you can't tell me Travis isn't going 1 or 2. You can't tell me a quarterback's not going 2 and 3.
Yeah.
I'd have trouble with that.
Yeah, I think it's any combination of Shedeur, Cam Ward, and Travis Hunter. Those are your first 3 picks in the draft.
Patriots at 4.
I don't know. Obviously with Vrabel at the helm, defense is going to be a top priority. So,
defense, or do you get a weapon for?
I would get a weapon for Buddy. Drake
but
May.
Is there a wide receiver that fits that build? I don't think there is. I really don't think there is. So I would probably go Abdul Carter from Penn State.
Yeah.
Jacksonville, I think this is a total wild card. You could easily go defense, right? But I would go offensive line, right?
Yeah.
Raiders at 6. You cannot pick here. By the way, 26 minutes.
Right.
Until the Diamond Turf drops in on the Sneakers app. The Raiders cannot make this pick. They have to trade up. You have to have a quarterback. Have to. I don't think, to your point, Jim, I don't think that Shedeur is available at the 5th pick.
Yeah.
I don't think he is. Anime says Cleveland should be banned for life from drafting QBs in the first round. I was born in Cleveland, but damn, we always blow it in the first round. What, Tim Couch? Does it hurt your groin that Baker Mayfield's in Tampa? especially now that you're probably going to cut Watson. Dude, you want to talk about messing it up. Mike Smith, Dallas has half of last year's team with Washington. Beat the Eagles, please. Well, are you guys surprised the lines have been pretty stable in these games? Commanders are still minus or +6 to the Eagles in Philly. The Commanders are not going to beat Philadelphia.
I mean, we can get into it if you want.
I don't want to, but because there's also this game, and you and I both know how this is going to turn out.